Good morning, everybody. It's the Saints man, small van driver on the CX. It's Sunday morning. Um, I've already done a video from Thursday and Friday last week. This is a video to not to help, well, maybe hopefully help drivers in the January. January is a worrying time. Um, what I do, I sat around one day this week, Wednesday, and I've got my old diary, my 2021 diary, which has got all my facts and figures in. So I did a comparison for 2021 to 2022, first 3 weeks of January. How much money I took, what I made. It was just a little thing, a little intro. I started on November 2020 with a little Vauxhall Combo 57 plate, which was the cafe's van, which was my van as well. The cafe was obviously shut, it was in lockdown. And that's what I started with, a Vauxhall Combo. And I started in November 2020. No feedback, no nothing. Not completely naive, because I used to have my own truck. I used to run abroad back in the day. Up until 2006, I run a truck, a Scania. I used to go abroad, Germany, all that around that. So I knew a bit about pricing and all that. But for small van courier, no, pretty novice, I suppose. But I've been watching a few videos, you guys. There's a few videos out of small van drivers and medium and van on the run, Beardy, Pete. There's a Lincolnshire one, I think it's Jim, Neptune. There's a new one, a Manc Courier, watch him, Tool Man, small van, I can't think what that is. Yeah, watch a few videos of guys. And it's the backloads, it's getting home, isn't it? It's getting home. Yeah, it's a bit of a struggle, but I'm going to get my experience from one year to another. I'll just run through the figures straight away in a book. Right. So, January 2021. Week commencing, the first week of January. In 2021, I took 360 quid all week. That's gross. That's what I took, the first week of January. This January, I did 788. So I'm up 418 on last January for 1 week. So I found it quite interesting to see how much I progressed. And then the next second week in January, starting the 10th, I did £400 exactly in 2021 with a combo. With a Citroen, I did 739. And I had a day off on the Tuesday. So up again, £339. 17th, last week, this last week, I did 525. So it's like in 2021, 525 quid all week. It's gradually going up. We had some snow in January 2021, so there's 2 days couldn't work. Not last week, the week before that, forgot that. Yeah, we had some bad weather. This week I've done 948. This week's gone. So it's £423 up. So what I'm saying is, on them 3 weeks in January, from 2021 to 2022, I'm £1,200 more in 2022 than 2021. So it's a lot. It's a lot. It is a struggle. When you first start, it is a struggle. It's about feedback. I've got over 230 positives, no negatives. I had no feedback in November at the end of it. Because shippers are they looking for feedback? I've got a couple of companies now, through experience and doing it for over a year, that use me. They use me. So I don't have to bid on them. Because there's guys out there bidding really cheap. It's understandable a certain cheapness, but if you go too cheap, like I say, I think you go bust. If you're going to quote 50p a job, you ain't going to survive. Because you just ain't. The weather. I've worked. Every day I've wanted to work, I've worked. We haven't had any bad weather yet, like snow, which kept us in. I'm lucky I'm in the Midlands. You don't get much snow. You still keep going. You know, go to Scotland. Neil and them at Scotland and Lincolnshire maybe, and, whatever. The snow's going to, stop you from working, or it's going to make it very difficult to get out and do jobs. I think it's experience of where to go and where not to go. Last year I used to go anywhere. I booked the price. Yep, it's times that. It's 100 miles times 75. It's 75 quid. Put a quote in. Oh, I want that job. Let's do it for 70. Do it for 70. You book it in 100 miles. You'd end up going to bloody Hereford. You'd sit in Hereford. No job. And the reason being, Hereford's not a very good area, especially in January. I'd do it. I'd shoot off to Hereford for 70 quid and I'd have to drive back empty. Experience tells you now, if there's a job, I'm only quoting Hereford. Nothing against Hereford. If you go to Hereford, you've got to quote enough to drive back to maybe Birmingham or somewhere near Kidderminster, the south of Midland, south of Birmingham, to park up there. Quote it in the price now. So you're not doing 100 miles, you're doing 125 miles, 130. So I quote on that to get me to an area where I think I might get work. If I don't get the job, you don't get the job. But if you get the job and you ain't got a load back, you're working for nothing. If you're doing the 100 miles back, that's 200 miles for 70 quid. It's 35 per mile. It's not even paying you bloody nothing, is it? So it's how to do that. How to price jobs. Like last week, I quoted jobs. I went to Blue Water. I know it's a good area. I've got good money going down because it's with a private job. It's not a six job. I know in Blue Water, around that area, I will get something out of there at 10 o'clock in the morning. So I'm going to quote normal price. I don't want to go into London, which is difficult because London, but the trouble is with London, you do get £1 a mile. You get £2 a mile on some jobs, but it's time and it's getting out of London. And once everyone's took the goods to London, there's a lot of drivers in London looking to get out cheap. So it's experience. It's experience of doing the job. Tramping. That cuts the dead miles down. I never tramped in the combo once. Hey, it weren't the cleanest of, well, it was a clean van. It was clean and tidy in the back, but it weren't the van I've got like now, which is nice to tramp in. I had a combo that weren't that nice to tramp in. I used to book hotels, which is great. In lockdown, hotels were 20 quid. You know, I booked the Ibis in Edinburgh for 2 nights for £19 each night. I booked hotels in Norwich and I booked them for 20 quid. I booked one in Wales once for 15 quid. Because we were key workers. Lockdown was on at the time, so it was difficult, but we could get around. But now I tramp. There's no hotels at 19 quid. There's no hotels at... You're looking at 30 quid minimum for, and what you're going to get for that. I don't know what you get anything for 30 quid now. Especially in the cities. If you're in a city or near a city, it's 50 quid. You can't tramp. You can't... That takes it off your profit. Defeats the object, really, a lot of the time. Unless you've made really good money. If you've made really good money, pence per mile, yeah, book a hotel because it's nice shower and all that. But if you're not prepared to tramp, it cuts the dead miles. I used to do stacks of dead miles when I was younger. Well, not younger. When the business was younger. Because I just did. I'd drive to the other side of Cambridge or somewhere, like Chatteris or somewhere, do a job, and I'd be stuck in Chatteris. There's no jobs out of Chatteris. Or, I'd even go up, I don't know, I'd go to Chipping Norton or somewhere like that. I'd go to somewhere in the Cotswolds. Lovely part of the country, drives lovely. There's no work out of there. You've got to drive 20 miles to get somewhere, or 30 miles. I'd do a job in Bakewell. I did a job. It's great. I mean, I used to take motorbikes around there. Beautiful, around Derbyshire and all that. You've got to get to Derby. You've got to get to Stoke. You've got to get to somewhere, Mansfield, Nottingham, and you've got to hope to get a job. So if you're not quoting, you're going to lose money. But now I'm more experienced, and it comes through trial and error. Don't get me wrong, I make cock-ups as well. I make a lot of cock-ups, but I make less, not mistakes. Yeah, I suppose they are, less mistakes. Just by knowing I perhaps ain't going to get a job out of there. I'm quite happy to go to somewhere like Southampton or somewhere around there, and I think I'll get a job back. I know there's work out of Andover. I'll travel back to Andover, but I put a premium on jobs like that. If I go down to Kent can be quite awkward to get out of, but there's not many drivers I've noticed around that Kent. Just take a chance, but if you're in Kent at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, you're going to stay in Kent. There's pretty much a very good possibility you're not getting a job. Where do you do? Do you tramp and cut the dead miles out? If you've made enough money, it's fine. If you've done 200 quid, yeah, tramp in Kent, because you'll get a job in the morning, first thing. But in the afternoon when it drops down, which it is at the moment, it's dropping right down, you're going to get a job. So that's your experience. That's what I think. I'm limited at the moment, limited company. Someone asked me a question, are you VAT registered? No, I'm not. I'm looking at going VAT registered. In fact, I'm meeting my accountant. We're looking into it. First year I was limited. Going into the second year, are we going to go VAT registered? So looking at the pros and cons. I'll get back to you on that one. I'm meeting in 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks. Week on Friday I'm meeting. And we're going to go through it. She's chatted about it. She's looked into it for me and all that. And we're going to see. I can't say. I know some of you are. And I know a lot of the CX businesses, they're all VAT registered, so they get it back. There's no difference. And you can claim some back on a flat rate scheme and all that. But we'll see. We'll find out. I've also had a few questions asked me. Guys have asked me, have got in touch with me, either privately or through the videos. I've tried to answer them. There's one guy who's messaging me privately. He's thinking of starting on the CX. He's looking at a van. He's based in the Bournemouth area. Is there any work around that area? I asked him, I think when you're around somewhere like it's Bournemouth Pool, you're near to Southampton. I think Southampton's a good area. Southampton, Portsmouth, Havant, Eastleigh, is it? Around there, Wimborne, all around that area. I think you get a job out there each morning. But I think you've got to be prepared to tramp doing it. Because getting back, if you want to get home every night, there aren't so many jobs that are going to get you within 30 miles of home. You've got to get to Southampton, Portsmouth, because he lives in sort of Bournemouth way, through the New Forest. Nice drive, by the way. So, that's one question. I hope I answered his question. I can't remember his name. I don't remember names. But I did message him back, and I said, I'm going to he's thinking of going, I said, I'll have a look on the feed a couple of days in the week next week to see if there's anything coming out, how much work comes out of there. If it helps him, that's great. I had someone who's thinking of doing it from Bradford. Again, I don't do much work at Leeds. I do a bit. I don't do mountains of work at Leeds, Bradford, around there. I do Sheffield a bit. And I don't know why. Because there is work coming out of there. You're on that trunk road across to Manchester as well. So there is work. And I think you're okay. I think you'd be okay. Rotherham, it comes to Rotherham, is it? Barnsley, all around there, Keighley. And I think, yeah, you should be okay starting. And getting home probably as well. You might get somewhere close enough to get home. You're not too bad there. I wouldn't have thought. That's just my opinion. But I haven't done mountains of work out of Leeds. But every time I've been, as far as I can remember, I've got a job out of there. It's the ones that I remember, the ones that I don't get a job out there, and I have to bloody move, or there's sometimes I go to places and I just don't get a job out of there. I've been to Preston a couple of times, and I've had to drive down towards Manchester because I've sat there doing nothing. Someone else asked me Newcastle. That's another place I've been to. I do struggle sometimes getting out of Newcastle, and also you've got Newcastle, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, all around there, Durham. You think you'd get work out of there all the time. I've been to Newcastle a few times, and yeah, it's a 50-50, I think, at Newcastle. I don't know whether it works there. But someone else asked me, they're looking at starting out of Heathrow. They reckon there's a lot of work in Heathrow. There is. They're asking about company ID, like you have an ID card. I haven't actually got one. I looked at it. You can get them. There's no problem. You get them. But I haven't actually got one. I carry with me my driving licence and my passport. Always got my driving licence and passport on me. And that has got me into every place. I've never had a problem where it's unique company ID. I've got company, I carry all my paperwork with me, which says who I'm working for, and all that, but not an ID card. You can get them apparently. You can make your own up. I don't know what it's on Amazon or whatever. You can do one. I think they send you a card, put your photo in and all that. But I haven't ever done it. But I don't do a lot of Heathrow work. I don't do hardly any Heathrow work. But I've been to all the other airports and Manchester and all that, and I've never had a problem with company ID ever. But maybe Heathrow, because there's a lot of secure places, they want you to have a company ID card. I don't know, but you'll probably tell me, because I don't know. But someone asked me about that. So, all in all, that's it really. my experience, like in 2021, I'm like £1,200 up in January on 2021 prices. Yeah, I had no feedback, and it was a struggle. But it is when you start. But it's hard work. You need to work hard, and you need to keep at it and working hard. And it ain't easy. If you think, I mean, you know, days I get, I think, Jesus, this is hard. Then another day, it just falls in your lap. I think the Jim at Lincolnshire Courier, he had one day and it just fell in his lap totally. He's happy as Larry. And them days you got to cherish. They don't happen every day. They offset the days where you sat there doing 90 miles dead because you ain't got no work and you're going home. So it. I've looked at 2021 as well, onward to March, and my prices in 2021 went up. And not my prices, my takings. January, they went up in February, up in March, and it just took off then. So, you guys who have started, you're only in your first year, it should get better. But it only gets better if you put the effort in, guys. Tramping, yeah, cutting your dead miles out. The main thing I've learned is cut your dead miles out. Definitely try and find someone who's going to give you work without you having to bid on everything. And set your stall out where you're going as well. If you want to get home every night, I'm lucky I'm in the Midlands. On Thursday last week, I just wanted to do local jobs and I picked up 3 jobs. Yeah, did 200 miles for 130 odd quid. And it earned me money. It wasn't brilliant, but I just did a little 7-hour day. Yeah, Friday, you know, you can do it getting home. But if you're based in an area where you struggle to get home, I think you're going to have to tramp. That's my take on it. It's just my take on it. So I just sort of put that out there for you guys. 17 minutes, Jesus, and me rambling. I hope it helps. If you want to comment, if you want to get in touch with me, get in touch with me. I'm quite happy to have a chat with you. If you want my phone number, just private message me. Or message me and give me your number and I'll private message you my number back. So, I hope it can help you. Cheers, guys.